So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
And today we once again have another interesting video for you all. Now, this one is talking about the possible significance of Nightmare and whether it actually means something to the child we play as.
Yeah, now we are introduced to Nightmare after night 6, in which supposedly this child died. We say supposedly because we know a few might actually disagree with this point, but the whole flat line at the end of night 6 kind of suggests that, you know, the child is dead. But it's very strange how we're introduced to this, like, it's a very similar design to Fredbear, but it's just endoskeleton and primarily black in colour. That's all that separates it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, as you said, it's a very strange circumstance. I mean, we know the child possibly to die on night 6, and then all of a sudden this animatronic comes in immediately after when you play Nightmare mode. And another thing as well we have to consider is that in the past games, when we've seen new animatronics introduced throughout the various nights, they'll always have some kind of significance because, throughout all of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, there's never been an animatronic that just comes into the storyline, has zero meaning. That's just not Scott's style. He likes to have a lot of depth to the game, and I think based on that alone, we know Nightmare definitely represents something.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just the fact that, like I was saying, how it's very similar to Fredbear, I believe that personally it's because this child has obviously been bitten. Of course. The child's brain has been messed with, so I believe that the recognition system in the brain has been tampered with, and obviously this is why he's seeing this animatronic the way he is.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing we have to think as well is, as we've said before, he's very much like Fredbear, but this animatronic is a much more dark colour in design, and some portions of this animatronic are actually transparent, and once again, we know Scott to actually do this with complete intention. So the first thing we have to actually notice is what is behind the animatronic's eyes, because there appears to be some kind of black mass within the centre of its head.
Yes, and a lot of people like Dorko and Razbowski have likened this to a brain, and we'll link their channels in the description below, and we totally agree with this point, but I think they may have said as well that it's not the entire brain, it just looks like part of the brain, and it would be very, very clever of Scott because we know the child to have lost his frontal lobe.
Yeah, and once again, that would also back up the whole idea of this Nightmare animatronic, and of course, the distorted, warped image this child now sees of this Fredbear character, let alone the Nightmare additions to all of these guys alone. You know, seeing this Nightmare character in correlation with the Night 7 name Nightmare all has to represent something to this child.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest possibilities is that if we look at this animatronic, the way it's designed, the way it looks, it's primarily black, like I said, with skeleton parts. And who else do we know who's pretty much primarily black and a skeleton underneath? That is Death. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a representation of Fredbear being deaf, taking the child away to some kind of purgatory state.
Some kind of metaphorical reference, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I think the final point we'll actually raise for this whole video is something that's very interesting about Nightmare's jump scare, because in all of the nights we know that these animatronics, they seem to attack you in some form or another, and even Fredbear will attack you. However, Nightmare will not, and all we are greeted to is one simple image as the death screen.
Yes, and we've got to think back to who else's jump scare was very, very similar to this, and that was Golden Freddy's in Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Yes, and whether or not this is a pure coincidence, the animatronic Nightmare's bow tie and hat are actually of a yellow shade too, and it does make you question some of the connections here. And also backing up the whole concept of death as well, we've got these really vibrant red deep eyes, and we also associate red to be with death too, you know, the whole color of blood, and it's just always had these connotations and links with it. And now for the final portion, and this is something you guys can actually talk about in the comment section below, because there's not actually a definitive answer on this yet. When we're actually attacked by this Nightmare animatronic, instead of hearing the screams of the child or the screams of the animatronics when they come towards you, we hear some kind of electric garble, and it's almost like, you know, thinking about Night 6 where this Fredbear toy, so we speculate once again, appears to say he will fix you up, and then in Night 7, the night after, we hear this electric garble. It's almost like the child has become this Golden Freddy character, because of course we don't see this Fredbear character throughout any of the future nights, which is just, it's almost a little bit ironic. So it's almost like the innards of this animatronic the child has possibly become are being interfered with.
Yeah, and I mean, just like the Golden Freddy jump scare in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, it's pretty much exactly the same, so I don't know, there must be a direct connection there as well.
Very, very identical, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And there we have it, guys. So hopefully you did enjoy this video. Of course, this was discussing Nightmare and hopefully explaining some of the unique features he possesses. Be sure to comment down below any of your thoughts in regards to this topic.
If you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like rating down below? And if you're new to our channel, why not subscribe for some theories like this and also some gameplays.
So thank you very much for watching the video, guys. And we'll, of course, see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey,
why not check out our past 2 videos?